Okay, so we got Enid situated. She's taking a little nap now. She was getting a little cranky. And we're going to get back to our crochet lesson. So I've got my loop on my hook, and I'm gonna hold my hook in my right hand. I've got my 4 fingers behind the hook, and I'm gonna put my thumb here. And then I'm gonna hold my yarn with my left hand. And we're gonna do a chain stitch, and that's how you're gonna start any crochet project that you're gonna do. You're gonna start by making a chain first. So I'm gonna do, I think 20 is usually good to start, but I'm just gonna do 10 for, so that you don't have to sit here and watch this forever. So I'm gonna hold, I need to keep this kind of tight while I do this. This can be kind of a tricky part to getting started, but once you figure this out, it becomes very easy quickly. So I'm gonna hold my loop with my finger here. I'm gonna hold my yarn tight. I got my tail and my yarn that I'm using, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna go around with my hook, okay? So I'm moving my right hand. I'm moving the hook to do this. I'm gonna go around and bring my yarn over from the back, okay? I'm not going here and bringing it over from the front. I'm bringing it over from the back, and that is called a yarn over, okay? Then I'm gonna pull it through that loop. So I'm going around, through, around, through. And I want my stitches to be not super tight, but not super loose either. You don't want them really tight. And it's easy to make that mistake when you're first starting out, is to do it really tight. But you'll see why in a minute you don't want them to be tight. So again, around, and I'm gonna grab that yarn with the hook, pull it through. Around, through. Around, through. Around, through. And at the same time, I'm kind of holding my tail here kind of tight, so that it doesn't get all twisted and stuff. Okay, so it's kind of just a thing to figure out with your hands. Get your hands used to this kind of thing. And then once they're used to it, then it becomes very easy. But you gotta just kind of get your hands used to it at first. Around, through. Around, through. Around, through. And again, not super tight. Okay, so I actually don't know how many that was, but let's say that was 10. So however many you want to do, however many stitches you want, you need to do 1 extra at the end. So let's say that was 10. I want 10, so I actually need to do 11. So I'm doing an extra one here. Okay, so then I have my chain here, and it almost looks like a braid. And now the next thing I'm gonna do is start the actual crocheting. Now I'm gonna make a row here, another row. So I'm gonna take my hook and I'm gonna go in, not to where the loop, where this one is coming out of. So not this one, not my first one here. That's why you make an extra, but in this one. Okay. And then I'm gonna go around. Okay, so I'm coming from the back and going around, not the front, from the back, around, and I'm gonna go through 1, around, and I'm gonna go through 2. And that's my first crochet stitch. Okay, Now I'm going to go into the hole next to it, into the stitch next to it. And I'm going to go around, through 1, around, through 2. Now I'm going to go in again. So now you can see this is why you don't want your stitches to be super tight, because if they're too tight, you won't be able to get your hook in here very easily. So I'm going in, around, through 1, around, through 2. And like I was saying in the knitting video that I did, when I'm first learning how to do something, I like to have something that I can kind of say to myself over and over again to help me remember the steps for it. So I'm going in, around, through 1, around, through 2. In, around, through 1, around, through 2. Okay? And it's getting taller. In, around, through 1, around, through 2. 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 Okay? And you will figure out how you want to hold your hands, how you want to hold your yarn while you're doing this. People kind of figure out their own way of doing it. This seems to be the most comfortable for me, that I put it between these two fingers like this. But I've seen people do it different ways too. Okay, whoops. So now I'm going to go in, around, through 1, around, through 2. And this is my last one. In, around, whoops, through 1, around, through 2. All right, and now I've gotten to the end here. So what do you do when you get to the end? You need to turn it around. So I did have it, was facing like this. I mean, it actually kind of hangs really while you're doing that, but I'm going to turn it. I'm going to move my yarn kind of back behind here. So my yarn is behind my work now. And I'm going to do an extra stitch. I'm going to do an extra chain stitch. Not a crochet, just an extra chain. So you always do, that's how you always start. You do an extra chain here. And now I'm ready to go in. So I'm not going in this loop here. I'm skipping that one and I'm going in here. And I'm actually going to show you, I think, with one that has more done on it so that it'll be a little bit easier to see. So now we'll get this bright green going here. Okay. And when you're sitting down and doing this, it's a little easier because your work gets long and it can kind of just sit in your lap. It's a little challenging to kind of try to hold it up like this, but I want you to be able to see it. Okay, so you can see on top here, there's these two loops all the way along the top. So once you're starting your crocheting, you're gonna go under these two loops. So go in here, in, around, through one, around, through two. Okay, so I don't want to go here where I just have one, where I haven't gone through both of those. I want to go here. So I have two yarns here, two pieces of yarn, whatever you call that, on top. And I'm going to go around, through, around, through. Okay? In, around, through, around, through two. In, around, through one, around, through two. In, around, through one, around, through two. In, around, through one, around, through two. Okay? So I'm just going to get us to the end here. So you can see how the end, getting to the end works again. All right, so now I'm at the end. I've done this whole row. Now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do my extra chain stitch here. Always remember that. If you don't do that, then your work kind of winds up getting small and becoming like a triangle, which there are things that you might want to do that on purpose for. But don't be worried if that happens on your first attempt. It's a good way to learn. All right, so I've done my extra chain stitch. Now I'm ready to make a new row and go across here. And I'm gonna go in here. So underneath where these two loops are here, I'm gonna go in, around, through one, around, through two, okay? And then I can just keep going back and forth and make this as long as I want to, or until my yarn runs out. All right, so I would have Enid say goodbye to you, but she's asleep. So I'll do another video soon, and you can see her in that one. So hang in there, everybody. Wash your hands. Keep making stuff. And if you live in Tulsa and you need any yarn, then let me know. Okay, bye-bye.